Ever notice how the most confident sounding speaker in the room is usually just the most prepared one, not the least nervous one? Same rule applies to you. Here's the truth nobody tells introverts. You don't need to become a different person to speak in public. You need a system. That's it. Most people think public speaking anxiety is a personality problem. Like some people were just born calm in front of a crowd and the rest of us got left out. But watch any genuinely great speaker closely. They're not fearless. They're just over-prepared in a way that makes fear irrelevant. The nerves are still there. They've just built something sturdier than the nerves. So let's kill the myth right now. Confidence on stage isn't a trait. It's a byproduct. It shows up after the prep work, not before it. Waiting to feel confident before you practice is backwards. You practice, and the confidence catches up later. Here's the first shift. Stop trying to memorize your talk word for word. Word for word memorization is fragile. One skipped line and your brain panics trying to find its place, and the whole thing falls apart. Instead, memorize the structure. 3 or 4 key points, each with one story or example attached. If you know your structure cold, you can lose your exact wording and still land every point, because you're not reciting, you're navigating. Second shift. Rehearse standing up out loud in real time. Not in your head, not while scrolling through notes silently. Actually stand, actually speak the words, actually feel how long it takes. Most anxiety before a talk isn't fear of the audience. It's fear of the unknown, of not knowing exactly what it'll feel like to say this out loud. Rehearsing out loud kills that unknown before it ever reaches the stage. Third shift, and this one surprises people. Practice starting badly on purpose. Rehearse your opening line while stumbling, while your voice shakes, while you lose your place for a second. Why? Because real talks aren't perfect, and if the only version of the talk you've rehearsed is the flawless one, any hiccup feels like a disaster. Once you've rehearsed recovering from a stumble stops being a crisis. It's just a beat you already know how to handle. Now let's talk about the room itself, because introverts tend to treat the audience like one giant judging entity instead of what it actually is, a room full of individual people, most of whom are thinking about their own lunch, their own deadline, their own life. Nobody in that room is studying you as hard as you think they are. That's not a comforting lie. It's just how attention actually works. People are mostly inside their own heads. Use that. It takes the pressure off performing perfectly and puts it back on just communicating clearly. Here's a small technique that helps immediately. Before you speak, pick 2 or 3 friendly faces scattered around the room. Not to stare at the whole time, just to anchor to when your nerves spike. Speaking to a few specific people feels manageable. Speaking to an undefined mass of strangers is what makes your brain panic. Same room, different framing, completely different experience. And one more thing worth saying plainly. You do not need to be the loud, extroverted, life-of-the-party type to be a good speaker. Some of the most compelling speakers are quiet, deliberate, even a little reserved, right up until they open their mouth and say something clear and well-structured.